In 2024, the United States was once again struck by a devastating natural disaster, a hurricane that left destruction, despair, and tragedy in its wake. This storm, provisionally named Hurricane Zeta, became one of the deadliest and most catastrophic hurricanes in U.S. history. Formed in the warm waters of the Atlantic, Hurricane Zeta rapidly intensified, reaching Category 5 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, the highest level of danger for such storms. NOAA meteorologists began monitoring the storm during its early formation, already aware that it posed a significant threat to the U.S. eastern coastline. Hurricane Zeta began in the Atlantic Ocean near the coast of Africa in late August 2024. A tropical depression formed from the interaction of warm waters and rising air currents, giving rise to a powerful cyclone. At this time, the surface temperature of the ocean reached 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, 2 degrees above the average, providing ideal conditions for a strong hurricane to form. Its intensification was accelerated by the absence of disruptive upper atmospheric winds, allowing the storm to strengthen hour by hour. The tropical depression quickly evolved into a tropical storm, earning the name Zeta, and began moving west toward the Caribbean. Even in its early stages, signs of rapid intensification were evident, with an expanding storm radius and rising wind speeds. By early September, Zeta had reached Category 3 status, threatening coastal areas and continuing to intensify. Zeta's swift upgrade to Category 4 and then Category 5 stunned even seasoned experts. Interaction with the warm Gulf Stream only fueled its growth, and Zeta reached maximum strength with wind speeds surpassing 155 miles per hour, 250 kilometers per hour. On September 12, 2024, Hurricane Zeta made landfall in Florida with devastating force. The first impacts were felt in southern cities like Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Violent winds and torrential rains led to massive infrastructure damage and widespread flooding. As Zeta advanced northward, its destructive path extended along the eastern coastline. Storm surges over 20 feet, 6 meters high, crashed into coastal regions, destroying homes, ports, and boardwalks. In Georgia and South Carolina, widespread flooding left thousands homeless. New Orleans, a city with a history of hurricane devastation, faced severe damage once again. Hundreds of families were trapped, and rescue boats navigated flooded streets. Zeta's winds ripped trees from the ground, tore down buildings, and destroyed bridges and power lines. Millions were left without electricity, and restoring basic services became the top priority. Local and federal authorities worked tirelessly to evacuate people from the most dangerous areas. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, launched large-scale rescue operations, sending thousands of rescuers and volunteers to affected areas. Temporary camps for evacuees were set up, providing first aid, food, and water. However, the scale of the destruction was so vast that some areas remained inaccessible for days. In Savannah, Georgia, helicopters were used to rescue people as floodwaters rose too quickly for other methods. Volunteers played a key role in the rescue operations, helping those most vulnerable, such as the elderly and families with children. After Zeta finally weakened and moved inland, the recovery efforts began in the devastated regions. Initial assessments estimated that the economic damage exceeded $150 billion, making it one of the costliest hurricanes in U.S. history. Rural areas also suffered greatly, with farmers losing crops and livestock due to flooding. The environmental damage included destroyed forests and polluted water sources, threatening the local wildlife and ecosystems. The recovery of natural ecosystems will take years and significant resources. Socially, the disaster had severe consequences as thousands of people lost their homes, many without insurance to cover the damages. Some areas saw outbreaks of disease due to contaminated water and poor sanitary conditions in temporary camps. Despite the aid from organizations like the Red Cross, the number of people in need of assistance was overwhelming. Hurricane Zeta became a powerful reminder of the need to prepare for such natural disasters and to address climate change issues. Discussions among scientists and policymakers intensified, focusing on the role of climate change in fueling such extreme weather events. This disaster serves as a grim reminder of how vulnerable human societies are to the forces of nature. The need for action in combating climate change and preparing for future catastrophes is more urgent than ever. Zeta's legacy is not just one of destruction, but a call to action for future generations. The hurricane left a scar on the nation, but it also brought a renewed determination to face the challenges ahead.